Okay, back to the Pioneer and the port work. And I'll be sharing things. My buddy's back in the house. He's learning how to be a tomcat. He doesn't got it figured out yet. Now that I pet him, he's going to be all over me. But that's all right. He's good company. Don't say much, though, you know. Okay, we have roughed in the transfers. There's still some blending to do. And I have my lower transfers, you can see, are substantially larger than what they were yesterday. Hopefully that's good views for you. I have worked on my uppers. That's my uppers. Some two little holes right there. This one over here is a primary. This one's a secondary. And the whole goal is to try to get the air to come across the top of the piston and meet just above where the intake in this case would be, because these are laid out just a little different. So that's case fed fuel. It doesn't have an actual intake. An intake would be right there. These are case fed fuel, depending on a reed valve, just like a modern motocross dirt bike, you know. So there you go. Now, one thing about flow, and I'll show you this when we're putting it together. I cut this down here. See, this other side over here is not cut yet. I cut that down because the case, when that's left there, when this area here is left, it impedes flow into the transfers. Okay, I'm going to tell you that right now. So I cut that right off, right, you know, from here to here. And I try to get it kind of level or just below level. Now that gets a little difficult, but I'm going to show you the tools I use to come back to square. See that square edge one right here? Just go with your round ones. Like that one is what I do most of the cutting with. This is a fast cut. See, it's quite coarse. That's a fast cut. I just stay away from these two areas, and then when I'm done, what you can do is put your tool like in this position and just trim it off, or like this. Just be easy. It'll jump around on you, but you just swipe it back to like that. And it makes it nice. It's not critical where that height is. It is not. You can go below it, slightly above. If you leave it slightly above, you can use one of these and finish that area, okay? I did touch it just a little bit by just tilting my file up just a whisker, and I kind of blended that in. I have about 3 to 4 hours worth of cleaning up to do now, but I want to just see the rough. And I'll warn you something, I leave my stuff rough anyway. I really do, and I'll tell you why. Laminar flow, I can't preach it enough. Laminar flow is when you have a rough surface where fuel and air have to travel, it keeps the airstream with the fuel in it away from the metal surfaces, and it does not easily knock the fuel out of it. I'll tell you another thing I did do, and you'll see it. Maybe a half a degree, opened my primary before my second, maybe a half a degree. It's not necessary to do that. You probably don't get substantial gains in any way. That's starting to chase rainbows. That's getting into where you're getting, well, I want this just a little more here. But see, these have naturally a big exhaust. Now you can see where I widened that. See how close it is to the primary transfers? And I oval them. Okay? I did widen that slightly. And I'll tell you why, and I don't think I made it clear in yesterday's video. We only got 20 degrees of separation between exhaust opening and transfer opening. And I like 25. I really honestly do. Now, let's think about what we're actually trying to accomplish, okay? Trying to get the exhaust pressure down before the transfers open. Okay, I can't get another 5 degrees without doing some heavy machining I'm not going to do to this saw. So, knowing that what I'm really trying to accomplish is get the pressure down, I widened that exhaust slightly. Okay? And not on the outside, none. Just inside the cylinder. Just inside. That's all I did. That will give me, that's a big mouth in it. It was already darn big, but that'll let me have guaranteed my exhaust pressure down far enough when them transfers open that it's gonna bloom toward the intake side and push some exhaust gases out. This is all you're trying to accomplish. Wrap your head around it. There, I see in the comments, some of you are like, oh, you connected the dots. One guy, don't have his name right here, but he really connected the dots on the difference of bore stroke. He really did. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'll cut this other side, do my cleanup, do my deburring, and I'll be right back at you because the exciting part's coming up. We have to match the cases to this cylinder. The Frady Cat way is to say, well, I'm just going to go to whatever my cylinder allows. I see people using templates and pieces of paper and doing this and trying to cut that out and use a gasket and trim it and stuff. Used to do all that before I understood that there was better ways. I'll tell you that right now. You're going to love the next part of this. I'll be right back. Okay, I thought I'd cover what I use for tooling with my Dremel. In this case today I'm using a Fordham. I still use my Dremel. I'm sorry I do. Okay. Bounty towels. Those of you who paint know that Bounty towels, when you're doing your final wash on your car when you're going to paint, does not leave lint. Okay, I use nothing but the Bounties. I use a big roll. I generally go through 3/4 of a roll of these towels every saw. I go through the Walmart brand, works just as good as anything for me. 1 can of brake clean as a rule on a saw. And the tooling is eBay stuff, Chinese. This is what you look for. See, they got nice cuts. It's not fine, they're more coarse. Aluminum needs more coarse. That's what you get. They're not bad money. I don't know, $13 or something like that. But I'll go through one of these for every saw. Because when my tooling starts getting dull, I change it. And there's nothing worse than running out and having to pick back through the stuff that I didn't throw away to see if I can find something that will cut. But this is what it is. It's just cheap Chinese. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's pretty good stuff. It's cost effective. Okay? Plain and simple, cost effective. And it actually is pretty decent. It really is. But you can buy what you want, but that's what I use. I thought I'd cover that. I can't stress enough to deburr good when you're done. I cannot. You get in there, go around your corners with a round ball on your tool and break them edges, okay? And get in there with some sandpaper. I wore that piece out. Get in there and you take your time. Those of you that drink, it should take you at least a 6-pack. That's how much time it used to. I had a lawn that used to take me a 12-pack to mow. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was always done. I don't drink anymore. I'm better off for it too, believe me. But time can be measured in beers, can it? Okay, so think about that. Coffee. Let's use 4 cups of coffee. I drink coffee slower than I used to drink beer. Yeah, I did. I was a pro. Let's just say one thing. There's some things in this world you shouldn't get real good at. That's probably one of them. You learn as you grow older that stuff hurts. It does. Dura Burgess. Old Slammer sent me that. I like it. That's a sticker you get on your saw when I build them. They're not building saws for other people anymore. Just a handful of people I've already built for. Once in a blue moon, somebody can convince me, but I've got a lot I want to do this winter. We'll talk next spring maybe, but I got this crazy ass 125 Mac project that I'm just jonesing to get into. We've got a couple righteous 372s to do. One is a reed saw. We're doing a reed 372, stuff like that. This is what I want to get into truly. It's not that I get bored with building logging saws. I don't. But I like to do new things too. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of it's retracing old steps. Sometimes I'm working on a saw here and I have an epiphany. And I start digging out parts, measuring, figuring things out, writing it down. If you don't log it, you're gonna forget it. You will. Every little thing you do on a saw, document every one. I do. Even if I've done 50 other darn things, I document my numbers, and sometimes I get data back. It's like, well, gee, this works good for this or that, don't it? Okay, we're going on to the next phase. You're gonna love this part. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna match these surfaces to these. Now you can see the factory wasn't too concerned about their cases matching and getting the air up through the transfers good. Now, this isn't really a bad job to do, because this is what I use. Blue or red, it doesn't matter. Just layout fluid. Now, my experience so far is you start your cylinder on with the piston at top dead center, and then you got to rotate at the bottom dead center. I don't have a lot of time to get this where I want it. If I can do this successful the first time, you'll see the imprint from the die on the cases. So only place I'm worried about is my transfers. So let's do this. Okay, what I'm going to do is just go ahead and try to do this real quick, and I'll bring you right back for the results. Okay, I can see pretty clearly where I need to be on this front side. There's where my center divider is. All this material's got to go right here. The back side I got to do one more time because didn't quite get it there quick enough. But I'm going to go through that, and I'll draw my line with my Sharpie where that's got to go, and then I'll go on to the next step. Comes in bricks like this, just a big old brick. I cut off what I need. This stuff will dry out on you. If I use it a lot, I don't wrap it in saran wrap. I just put it in a bag and kind of get it tight, but it does store fairly well. Now, what you're doing is you're putting that, you can see right here is where I'm going to actually be removing material. I've slid my rod back, okay, and I've put that right up around that rod, okay. This is the nice stuff about this. Years ago I used Play-Doh is what I used, but this works just a little nicer. But if you got children and they got Play-Doh, they won't miss it, will they? Okay, you make sure that where you're actually gonna remove, that you have that out of the way as much as possible and sealed tight, okay? You can see the concept of this. Okay, this isn't hard. Okay, now I threw the camera all over. Oh yeah, the bluing, that's not a problem. Brake cleaner. You see it running already. Bluing ain't gonna hurt anything anyway. I washed these cylinders about 5-6 times. I used to get real anal about it. But okay. So I'm gonna do one side and show you where I'm at. I wish I could show you my line. If I had I got just a real fine Sharpie here. If I had a heavier Sharpie, I'd blacken that whole area in so you can see. But you can get the concept anyway. I can see it fine. It's a complete waste of time to try to show you that fine little line there. This keeps the chips out. I'll tell you another thing it does is if your Dremel gets in it, it'll just kind of wad up, spray around a little bit, but doesn't hurt anything. You can just clean it right off. It's not a big deal. But I got a fair amount that I'm going to remove here. Remember always when you're doing stuff like this, make sure you've got enough gasket area left on the body of your saw, okay? And if you got a little carried away with your transfers, which I've done on a 372 a couple of years ago, and you find out, oh shit, they're too big, I'm not going to get it to seal on the case. I think it was a 372. It was something anyway. Don't sacrifice your cases, don't. All you're trying to do is get air up them transfers. Obviously, that's a big restriction. It would come out and bend and go back up. This isn't hard. This is old school stuff. It used to be done years ago on bikes. All I'm showing you is what I do on bikes that I learned from the pros. I mean, the real contenders. I got lucky. I did. You don't see anybody on YouTube doing this kind of stuff because it's lost. We as humans have a unique thing we do. We'll generate something, learn something, even at work, solve a whole set of problems, know exactly. Time will pass, people come and go, old guys retired, young guys come in, take their place. All of a sudden, even in manufacturing, that same set of problems drop back up. Somebody's got to work through and figure them all out again. This is what happens. This is why I think, even though, at 60, that's not young yet, but it's not damned old. It's important to share this stuff. This is what YouTube is for me. It isn't about anything but getting information that I've learned. Do I have all the answers? Oh, hell no. I don't. I'm showing you what I've learned. That's it. I can't do any more than that. Fun stuff. Real fun stuff. It's too bad more people in the chainsaw world couldn't just really get along. Everybody's got their own little secret. They want to do this way or that way. Or why can't it be about the saws? People can be very vain sometimes. I wonder if I was when I was young. I don't think so. Maybe I was. I probably was. Maybe I didn't know it. Maybe if you're vain, you don't know you're vain until somebody tells you about it. Only thing I ever had trouble with when I was young, shutting up. Couldn't shut up for nothing. Oh yeah, it was bad. Okay, I'm going to work this one right out here, and I'm going to take me a little gum break. Okay, we got that part of it done. If you see, them chips really want to embed into that stuff. They really do. You just throw it away. $4. $4, so simple. Take your time putting it in and make sure that you got it like if you're going around your transfers on these saws like this, you got it deep enough so that if your tool takes a little out of this stuff, it'll still seal. It comes out very easy. It doesn't even stick to it. I done no cleanup. I'll show you. It don't stick to it at all. But I've got that right where I want it on both sides, and it's good. And it matches my cylinder quite nicely. If you want to get a perfect job match in your cylinders to your base, your saw, you have to do it when the saw's apart all the way. You got to split your cases, do one half at a time, okay? Because you can visually see then. I'll be doing another 372 here shortly. We got another kind of way cool build. I'm gonna build a 372 for 10 man. I think it'd be fun. This stuff works. It's little bitty things that make it. Share your tips. Share it with all of us. Share it with me. I need to know more too. It ain't all about just you. Come on, give me some. And a lot of you have already sent some really nice tips. I love it. I really do. I guess you guys have been jonesing for a story. I think a long time ago I told this one story already on YouTube, but that's in an old video and I ain't even got a clue where it is. But I'll tell you one. Now, as many of you know, I was a combat medic in 18th Airborne Corps, rapid deployment. I was stationed at Fort Stewart. And you who's been to Stewart or Benning or any of them, you know what that's all about. This isn't just regular Army. This is you train hard. You got the best equipment there is. You got good stuff. You always got brand new stuff. Like Fort Ord, California, and stuff like that. They don't get nice stuff like we do. Share your experiences in the military with me. I love the stories. Okay, anyways, what happened was they were pounding us with so much training that it was ridiculous. I mean, there's nothing to see 3/4 of the post in the field. And we were short medics throughout Fort Stewart. And we was a half strength at best. So we were getting double dutied, where other units were getting time off here and there from the field. We just constant. It didn't stop for 6 months. It did not. So we had one medic. It was Steve was his name. He was having some trouble with his wife, and he lived off post. And there's a couple times that he didn't make duty. Well, being a medic, pulling sick call, you start at 3:30 in the morning, and at 4:30 sick call opens. He wasn't making sick call. Well, I left my freaking butt doing trying to run sick call by itself. Well, I'd get McCoy. I said, hey, go get him, bring him in. He did. I don't know if he's still hungover or damn drunk yet, but anyway, he made it, but we wouldn't let him do sick call. This happened 2 or 3 times. Finally, I sat down with him. I outranked him quite a bit. And I said, what's going on with you, bud? I said, you've been hitting the sauce pretty heavy. Yeah, my wife. Too much field time. He said, I can't stand it. I want to get out. There ain't no way to get you out. I says, you got, what, 2.5 years I think he had on his contract. He says, well, I'm not going to make it. I just can't do it. He says, it's just too much. No, I says, buck up. I says, get into something you enjoy other than a darn liquor bottle, because he drank darn stuff. Yeah, he drinks beer and then he'd just switch is what he do. That was bad for him. So he'd get drunk and his wife and him would fight, and she was mad because he was in the field all the time. Well, for goodness sakes, he married her, brought her with him. I mean, they knew. I'll tell you right now, when you sign up to go to the military, your spouse just signed up with you. You better find out the facts before you go in as being married. I'm going to warn you of that. Rapid deployment, had a divorce rate that everybody was divorced in 11 months. And I kind of believe them figures. That was the average. Pretty crazy, huh? So anyways, he goes AWOL. Yeah, he did. But like a dumbass, he stayed at home. He didn't go back to where he was from. He stayed in his house. Oh, God, that was bad. That was real bad. And there was nothing I could do to protect him. Because the first sergeant freaking put him on the roster, absent without leave. Yep, for 2 days. Sergeant Major got wind of it. Now this was a brigade sergeant major. They're the heavy hitter for us, you know. He was mad. Well, I was out in the field when all this stuff was going on. Like I said, I couldn't protect. I could, if I was on base, I could have protected him. But they ain't no coming back from that. So they grab him and do what they need to for him. He got a field grade, Article 15, which is bad news. That sticks like glue. Obviously, he wasn't going to stay in the military or re-up, so it didn't matter. So anyway, we had been moving day and night, and setting up and doing all our night ops and everything that we were supposed to do. And I was so tired because I was not just with a company. I was with a battalion. So and I was the only medic. So every one of them companies that had to move, they transport me to that one and this one. There was 5 of them. So I wasn't sleeping. Them SOBs get to sleep. I wasn't sleeping. Well, finally, we had a little bit of time starting about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I just laid right down in the bush, Fort Stewart. I didn't even care, and I fell asleep. Well, first sergeant, he comes over and taps me. He says, "Doc," he says, "you gotta get up." I've been asleep about an hour, maybe. He says, "Command Sergeant Major here, and he's got a case of the ass toward medics. He wants to see you." Uh-oh. I kept my shit straight. I didn't mess around. So I went over. I looked like a rag bag, I know it. But in the field, they accept that. Do what you can do, but accept that. I did my best. I did change my shirt. That's one thing I did. That's only because I had the other one off. So anyways, I had my aid bag in tow. I never let it. I even slept with my arm through the straps in case I had to get up and go. I didn't want to look for something. He says, "All right." He says, "How long you been a medic?" And I looked, that's what I told him. He says, "Okay." He said, "Let's check your proficiency." Well, he was straight leg infantry. So you know what them guys were like. And then being a brigade level sergeant major. So he pulls his 45 out and he goes click. And a soldier standing there beside him. He says, "Okay, soldier on the ground." He says, "He's got a sucking chest wound," meaning shot through the lung. Just for training purposes. Wasn't a real round in it. So he says, "Quick, what are you gonna do?" So I pulled my 45. Yeah, I had one of them. Medics get him. And I go, "Click, Sergeant Major, you're fucking dead." Excuse me? First sergeant, I thought, yeah, that was Charlie Company. I really liked him. I thought he was going to have a damn stroke. I swear to God, thought he was going to have a stroke. And Sergeant Major says, what do you do? You shot your Sergeant Major. He says, "No, Sergeant Major, I did not. I shot an enemy." I says, "My Sergeant Major wouldn't shoot one of his own troops. Therefore, you're an imposter." Now, he said, the first thing I have to do as a medic is protect myself before I can work on somebody. If there's an imminent threat, I have to eliminate it if it's possible, or wait till it's eliminated. So anyway, I would start working on this guy. Yeah, I started, whoa, wait a minute. He says, "Yeah, I don't have to see it." He said, "I can tell you've been around a while." He says, "He sounds pretty messed up." He says, "You thought quick on your feet." He says, "That is exactly." He said, "I didn't even look for that answer. That isn't what I wanted. I wanted to see your proficiency." He says, "I know you got a high rating. He says, you're at 98.8% or something retention, which is good, you know. And word got around post real fast. As big as 24th ID was, my name was always floating around post, believe me, because I went out with many units. You never knew who you were going to do coverage for. Anything from small arms ranges to the tank ranges. I'll never forget when we got them Abrams in. Well, I went out to Red Cloud Bravo, turned left, and I don't even know where the heck I was after that. And I come across, I knew I was going out to a tank range, which I hadn't seen them live fire before. And but I pulled up, I looked at this sign, and it said laser tank range. Yeah, you know what I was thinking. This is in the 80s. Laser tank range. I did not know what I was going to see. It just dumbfounded me. So I pull in there. I look. I had to report to the lieutenant and sergeant major stuff, get a little briefing. I said, hey, what's with this damn laser tank range? What am I expecting here? Oh, he says they're laser guided. Oh, well, why didn't they put that on there? I says, you know, I got all kinds of excited. Thought I was going to see some Star Wars stuff. Military life, I'm going to tell you, is 90% suck. You learn to embrace the suck and get through it, because that 10% with the friends you make that turn out to be better than brothers is wonderful. It really is. You're living for that 10%. I know there's a bunch of you will agree. Okay. We're going to do it now. I think 1 or 2 more videos on this saw. So stay tuned. Goodbye.